Hi, everyone. I want to thank you and welcome you to the Carolina Farm Stewardship Sustainable Agriculture Conference. You have joined the session using multifunctional agriculture to improve profitability and sustainability with Dr. Kathleen Liang. We want to thank our sponsor for this workshop, Whole Foods. So thank you to that sponsor for being here for that. And I am going to hand it over to Dr. Kathleen Liang now, and we're going to go ahead and get started.
Hi, good morning, everybody. Hope you all started with a great morning, and I know the conference will be really exciting for the next few days. Now, if you could you please put your name and your position or where you're from, that sort of thing in the chat box for a brief introduction because I don't see the list of the participants. So if you can just type your name and say hi or with or without name, either way is fine with me. I just want to get a sense about who is here and how many people are here. I'll give you a few seconds to do that. Thank you very much. And then Gina, I will coordinate with you when more people participate.
All right, we have several people chiming in here. So, good morning to everyone who is joining us. Oh, wow, we've got a lot of people coming in. That's very exciting.
So Gina, could you give me a quick count at this point? How many people are here, so I can arrange the activity coordinately?
Sure. Looks like we've got close to 30 people here.
All right, great crowd. Thank you so much. I appreciate. And then maybe people come in and out, and it's feel free to leave and join back in, and however you feel comfortable. This is a free flow and an interactive session. I don't have any specific agenda that I have to finish certain kind of a contents, but this time is to share with you and get your feedback and how things will go the best way for our audience. So Gina, I'm going to start sharing my slides now, and then I will check back in with you from time to time. All right?
That's good.
Gina, are you looking at my slides?
I'm adding it right now.
It should be
Okay.
the full slides.
Yep, it looks great.
All right. Thank you very much. And once I start running the slideshow, I will not be able to see anybody, not your name. So I apologize for not being prompt to respond to your question right away. But I have the best facilitator right here. Gina is right here with me. And I will check in with her. And Gina, please feel free to let me know when you see people type in questions in the chat box. Please feel free to stop me at any point. Is that okay?
That sounds great.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
This is my information. My name is Kathleen Liang. I am with North Carolina A&T State University. If I go too fast, if you cannot hear me or see the slides, just let Gina know right away in the chat box. I want to acknowledge a USDA program that funded our research, well, more than 10 years ago now, when we started a journey to talk about multifunctional agriculture in the country. And I really appreciate that the USDA gave us an opportunity with my team that we define the multifunctional agriculture through a series of research, and we're still working on this domain. And I'm very happy to share information with you regarding how we can use multifunctional agriculture to improve profitability and the sustainability for all types of farmers. It's not necessary for small scale, large scale, but the multifunctional agriculture is a very flexible way, and it's a creative strategy to help all farmers, whether you're in urban area or rural area or somewhere in between in the universe. everybody should be able to apply this kind of a content. Now, Gina, are you looking at the second slide?
Yes.
All right, I just want to make sure the slide is moving. If the slide stopped moving, let me know. Okay, Gina?
Okay, I'll do it.
All right, do a very quick overview about what I do, who I am. I'm also the director of Center for Environmental Farming System representing A&T. Some of you probably heard about SAFS. SAFS is a three-way partnership between NC NC State University, and the North Carolina Agriculture and North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services. It's a mouthful, isn't it? So this is our website, and a lot of information is available on our website through my presentation today. And I always post my slides and the recording if Gina allows me to do that. I know CFSA is recording the session, but we post all of our presentation training materials, workshops, all kinds of stuff on our website. And I also have Spanish translation for different language for you to facilitate the knowledge or any training you would like to do. Our primary farming experiment station is at the Cherry Research Farm, and it's in Goldsboro. About 2 hours, 2 hours, 30 minutes, or 3 hours, depending on whether you sit in the traffic or not, between Greensboro and the Goldsboro. But I actually stay in Goldsboro. I have a residence at the farm, near the farm area. So I live between Greensboro, Goldsboro, and wherever else in North Carolina if people want me to be there. And this is a huge research station that's managed and owned by the state. We have 2,250 acres in operation. It's probably one of the largest research farm in the country with a land grant institution. And then this is a quick overview about what kind of stuff we have. But we really appreciate and I want to acknowledge NCDA support, management, and all kinds of things. They help us to make sure our research, our training, and the demonstration goes really well over time. On SEP's website, if you click on each icon, you will be able to access one of the 6 units. Right now, our alternative swine unit is waiting for future improvement. So that unit is not operating right now, but the other 5 units form a natural integrated agriculture system. You can get more information from each unit and then see how we integrate with each other. For example, our cows and beef, those are fed by our own production on the farm, organic fed, and they're pasture based. And then, of course, their disposal or whatever you want to say, poop, directly go back to the land that becomes soil nutrient supplement. And then we also have water and other type of tillage management practice to improve environmental quality to prevent water contamination and the runoff and leakage, those kind of things. So you can get a lot of detail from our website. Beyond the field work, we also run different kind of programs. These are 10 good programs for you to find out information. Each icon, you click on it, you will see the people who's leading these programs, what they do, how to connect with them, and the request for resource information or further assistance. Gina, any questions so far in the chat box, comments? Gina? Oh, I hope we didn't lose her.
Yes, I'm
Well,
here.
did you see any comments or anything in the chat box at this point?
Nothing yet.
All right, we still have about 30 people.
I think it's up to close to 50 now.
Oh my goodness. Well, I better put up a good show. Okay, here we go. So after the quick overview about what SAFs is, what I do with the SAFs, now let's talk about the focal point of the day is multifunctional agriculture. We will go through the following key points to talk about what is multifunctional agriculture. Different people define it differently, and I will provide a specific research-based definition and to show you why this is important for farmers or other agriculture producers to think about it. One thing people usually ask me is, Dr. Liang, what's the difference between multifunctional agriculture and diversification? We will talk about that, and I will show you an example. And I have activities for us to do. And then finally, I'm going to share a set of strategies to think about how would you as a farmer or how would you as a service provider to help farmers to utilize multifunctional agriculture as a strategy to improve profitability and the sustainability in the long term. Now everybody knows the profitability is just a total earnings minus total cost in general perspective. But sustainability has a very broad definition, again, depending on what you're talking about, whose perspective, and the focus on what outcome. So here, our sustainability represents a holistic approach that we look at the economic, social, environmental, and the human health in the long term. So just to think of the very broadly. All right. Now, what is multifunctional agriculture? Really simple two aspects. One is we help people to use what they already have at the farm or at any agriculture enterprise to enhance the activities and the opportunities working with the community. And the second way that we define multifunctional agriculture is create values and the benefits in addition to just providing the basic food, the fiber, or value added product like a jam, jelly, wool sweater, firewood, that kind of thing. They're embedded values of multifunctional agriculture that is not easily identified. Now, looking at the additional values, of course, it comes with additional responsibilities and the challenges. So we have to put our mindset to think about it. Okay, it's a not one size fits all, first of all. And then secondly, if you really want to take on the multifunctional agriculture aspect to improve profitability and the sustainability, then there will be additional challenges, additional needs, and additional implications for rural development and some sort of a required entrepreneurship skills linking to this strategy. What's the difference between diversification versus multifunction? Diversification from the production perspective, there are three ways. I'll show you examples. That's really easy to understand. Whether it's diversify the production line or diversify the way we handle one type of crop or one type of operation, or the way to diversify how we work along the whole supply chain from the horizontal perspective. Now, multifunctional agriculture is not just about the production, or it's not just about the market, or it's not just about the management. It's actually everything together. And I already said we always encourage people to look at what they already have at the farm. So it's a resource oriented to create multi opportunities for people to use what they already have instead of getting more money, more investment, creating more problems. And then finally, I will emphasize this one more time, is to look at the additional service and the benefit beyond just selling your traditional product. Gina, any question or comments at this point in the chat box?
We had one question about finding the links, but had a participant be able to answer and drop in the direct link to the SEF's website. So we're all good.
We're all good?
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Um, if you if you're still looking for that SAF's link, just Google us. Everything I talk about today is open public information. There's no password protection or any hoop you got to jump. Just Google Center for Environmental Farming Systems. And the PowerPoint, the recording will be available for everybody to view. Am I right, Gina? This is a recorded session, correct?
Yes, so this session will be recorded. Anyone who has registered for the conference can come back and watch this. That includes people here today, or if somebody later on missed it and wanted to rewatch it, that'll be available.
Great. And if you want to drop in your contact information, all I need is your name and the email for further conversation, follow up, or if you say, Dr. Leon, I want to have everything just by myself. I'll be happy to send you a copy of the presentation. So if you just put your contact information in the chat box for me, and then Gina, I assume you can download the chat box information and then send it to me later. Am I right?
Yeah, that's correct. Y'all could also connect with Dr. Liang through the conference platform too. So there's several different ways, but if you drop it in the chat box, I can grab it from there.
Yeah, I'm old school and low tech. So it's a tough enough to figure out how to run the conference here. Okay. So I appreciate we'll just do it the old school way if you guys don't mind.
Sounds
All right.
good.
Now, let's see how we define the multifunctional agriculture in our research. And later, all these concepts were included in the Farm Bill. If some of you don't know about the Farm Bill, it's actually the big, ginormous policy thing that the USDA um, creates and gets feedback from researchers, from stakeholders. Farm bills is usually released every 5 years or so as a guideline, where we're going to in our farming and agriculture industry in general. So the multifunctional agriculture term has been included since our research in the farm bill to um, encourage people to think broader to create new opportunities. Now, these are the four things that in our research we focused on. Of course, there are other ways to think about multifunctional agriculture. We primarily targeted on agritourism. I know agritourism in North Carolina is just budding right now, but before I joined the A&T, I was a professor at the University of Vermont for 18 years. And more than 20 some years ago, agritourism was actually in my research strategy to start with. So I've been working with agritourism aspect for a long, long time. I got a lot of publications, presentations, and you know, sharing some findings with people about to do, not to do, and definitely not to do that sort of thing. So it's been a very excellent journey working with agritourism folks. Different varieties of agritourism, pick your own. You see this a lot. People offer recreation services. Corn maze, you probably heard about it in Northeast. The corn maze is so popular, and I think we actually have people doing corn maze. Yeah, and by the way, you don't have to do corn maze. You can do sorghum maze. You can do all kinds of a maze. As long as they're tall enough, people can see each other or yell at each other in there. Anything or sunflower? Have you thought about doing sunflower maze? Wouldn't that be fantastic and fabulous in North Carolina for people to come to see? Entertainment, we had farmers hosting concerts, dancing parties, all kinds of stuff, or trick or treat hunted farm, all kinds of stuff. And then bed and breakfast is people always say, well, that's a New England thing. No, that's not just a New England thing. We have bed and breakfast all over the country, from California to Montana to Florida. I mean, that it's a very popular thing for people to find alternative lodging and also to help farmers out to get a little bit more income. If you have an empty barn out there or empty house, you can pamper it up a little bit. And then finally, education workshop. A lot of farmers spend time training. As a matter of fact, I have a list of people here I met at the state fair. I serve as a volunteer at the state fair all the time. And when I was at a table, people would approach me, "Hey, Doc, I was looking for something that can you help me to promote this a little bit?" And they want to do training and education workshops for students, young people, school people, folks, all kind of stuff. And that's all a part of the agritourism. That's just easy to do if you're already growing the crops. Make it something out of it. If you already have the building, and by the way, you please do not spend money to renovate an old farmhouse. When people come to stay at the farm, they are looking for the rustic feeling, the originality of the farm, not a five-star hotel. So that make it simple and easy for you to do. That's the best way to look at agritourism. And we will talk about it more. Now, value added production, for example, is the jam and jelly, but there are other ways that people use wood carving and those kind of thing to create a different theme of helping people to utilize existing crops. And then direct intermediate sales, this is really popular right now to deepen the relationship and the connectivity of farmers with local or regional organizations. A lot of people are selling to schools. We actually have a farm to school program here in North Carolina. Community supported agriculture, super popular. It's like a selling pre-sale tickets kind of thing for people to prepay and then come to pick up crops, whatever you produce. Farmers market, I don't need to say anything more about that. It's really, really growing. And finally, working with unique wholesale venues and that sort of thing. Give you an example about a strawberry, how this goes. The strawberry, do you guys all know that North Carolina actually ranked as a top three strawberry producer in the country? Gina, anybody typing in the chat box?
We've got several people who have provided their emails,
Uh-huh.
but
But
that's it.
yeah, I asked them. I said, "Do you guys all know that North Carolina ranked as one of the top producers in strawberry?"
People are surprised. They didn't know that.
All right, good. Now you learned the first new thing through the first. We are on top three. Okay, and of course you say it's California and the Florida. Yes, but those are field strawberry. Our strawberries are in the high tunnels or greenhouses, the indoor strawberry or outdoor strawberry. We also have strawberry field, but our strawberry is pretty solid at a national rank. What are we gonna do with the strawberry? Okay. First of all, production diversification. You say, Doc, I'm gonna grow more varieties of berries. Fine. You can do blueberries, raspberry, elderberry, whatever berry, boysenberry, all kinds of berries. Absolutely fine. This is a whole production line diversification. Okay. And by the way, these are all strong antioxidant, nice superpower food. Okay. And there are research about medical benefit. You can study that if you want. What else can you do? The vertical diversification is you handle your strawberry and you harvest it and then package it, label it with your own farm name, and then sell it. You go to farmers market. I love to go to Raleigh Farmers Market. It's one of the best, if not the best, farmers market in the country North Carolina Department of Agriculture really invests a lot of support and assistance for our state managed farmers market. To me, the Raleigh Farmers Market, in my experience, I travel across the country for 20 some years. I had not seen, and this is really honest, not because they are my partner. This is really true that I had not seen a state managed farmers market with such a large scale and such a well coordinated and organized scenario. People say it's hard to get in, it's expensive. Well, of course, I mean, it's a really popular spot, but I'm sure NCDA will work with you if you are interested in that opportunity. But that everybody's selling at a farmer's market is it's like a vertical diversification kind of thing. Horizontal diversification, how you use that strawberry. You use it in a pie, in a cheesecake, in a summer smoothie, in lollipop, and all kind of stuff. Right. So that's those are three types that I just shared with you are all in the diversification category. This one slide summarizes multifunctional agriculture. You got a strawberry farm, you open an area that you feel comfortable for people to come. Now, if you want to do multifunctional agriculture, there's a number one thing that I need you to remember. Number one thing is you really need to have the mindset to want to do it. I've worked with so many farmers. They said, Doc, this is not my calling. I said, why? I'm too busy to grow my stuff already. I don't feel comfortable for people to come into my farm without any supervision or, just started picking up stuff, shaking up stuff, and that's creating more damage. I totally agree. I absolutely agree. When I work with the apple orchards or pick your own berry farms, these venues are very well organized and they have professional help to monitor the visitors' behavior. And they open up a limited domain, a really small limited domain for people to come to enjoy the hands-on experience. The large area of the production is still under protected. Okay, so you just have to have the way to manage it, to plan for it, and then accommodate the visitors' level of knowledge and the skills. If you open up the gate, you're not going to get professional farmers to come, to really understand what they're going to do. These are visitors, tourists, local people who are interested in learning about the farm, interested in learning about where the food comes from. So it's really more like engage the conversation, a relaxed environment, and plus get some help to for people to bring the words out about your farm. So you get a more acknowledgement in the community. So
We
yes,
we
question.
have we have a really great question. So we have a farmer that has considered doing pick your own strawberries, but has concerns about cost and liabilities. Do you have any suggestions for overcoming these issues, particularly liability for pick your own and any other type of agritourism?
Great question. And the NCDA has a division actually to answer this question. And the NCDA has a division work. It's a within their division of marketing, and they have a group focused on the agritourism, liability insurance, those kind of thing. Yes, yeah, you have to have certain liability insurance. You also have to have certain certificate. For example, to prove that your farm is safe, no animals, and the no other additional risk for your visitors. Yes, there's a whole series of legality that you have to understand. You can't just say I'm going to put a flyer on the street. I'm going to work on my farm to do agritourism. No. And this is true across the country, by the way. Sometimes even each county has different ordinance for you to follow what the county would allow you to do or not allowing you to do. But the NCDA Division of Marketing will be the first place for you to start. Thank you for asking that question. Any other questions?
There are none so far.
Okay. Why is multifunctional agriculture important? Through our research and my work with all the people over 20 some years, I gathered a lot of people's direct reflection for them to do multifunctional agriculture activities. And these are the feedbacks from the farmers directly, why people wanted to do it. And most of the time, people want to do it to to increase the income, of course. Now, good example is agritourism. You got to charge people to come to pick whatever that you want them to pick, or what they stay, their event, and kind of things. I always tell farmer, I said, don't let go the opportunities when people are willing to pay. Now, listen to me carefully. By training, I'm an economist. All right, so I want to make sure that the producers who offer these kind of opportunities get the payment that's equitable and that's also a good indicator for how much your time and your effort you actually put in to do these kind of things. 90% of farmers or any small business owners in general forgot to budget their time, their family time, your spouse, your partner, your children, even your pet. Now you got a cute dog out there helping to recruit people. Well, you got to feed the dog, don't you? There's a cost for additional work that you or your family needs to be involved. Make sure, please include your time when you consider to engage in all these different kind of opportunities. Sometimes it's more stressful to deal with customers. Sometimes it's more stressful to help people to organize an event, a wedding, a retirement party, all kinds of stuff. And by the way, please don't do wine tasting without a license or the legal approval from the state government or whatever you got to do because it's illegal. It is actually illegal to give people alcohol without the the policy in place, insurance in place, those kind of things. And I always say this when I present this concept because wineries that we have galore breweries around, and we'll just do free tasting. Well, you can't. Please don't do that. You gotta check on the legal and the law perspective before you do anything with the customers. Okay, if anybody gets a diarrhea, well, guess what? You get a suit without any question. All right, or somebody tripped, they complained about there are rocks on the farm. My kid was playing around and then she just tripped. Went to emergency room. Broke a finger or something. They any consequences can come back to haunt you. So please be very aware of all the legality, the policy, the law, the required license, everything. And I just mentioned, make a phone call, take a visit with NCDA, and that they will guide you through the process. Okay. Any question, comments so far, Gina?
Nope, no questions.
All right. This is what we just talked about. So just to summarize, balance your lifestyle, your personal family satisfaction. Do you really want it? How much money you're getting in return if you do extra stuff? Do you have enough help to do it? Do you have enough cash reserve savings, get ready to do all these other things? And finally, do you understand the market segment and the type of customers that we will have to deal with if we engage in multifunctional agriculture? Okay, all these things could be major concerns in addition to maintaining your farming action. And so nothing is a free, nothing is stressless. Everything is a stressful if you want to do additional work. But there are ways to ease your stress, at least from being a farmer perspective. I want to show you a few things. For the next few slides, the photos were taken from our research farm, the small farm unit in Goldsboro. So let's dig deeper, if nobody has questions, into what we could do and building on what we already have to create more opportunities. So first of all, from production perspective, I always help people to think outside the box. Well, this is an old saying. It's not even a good way to say it. Think outside the conventional crops. Okay. Whoops. Didn't mean to do that. I gotta go get back. Okay. So grow something to serve multiple purposes. That's the easiest one to do to start with. And it helps with the profitability and it helps with the long-term sustainability. First of all, we start with the conservation practices. As you can see, we use plastic mulch and the drip irrigation at our farm for inside the high tunnel or outside in the field. Okay. When you get a chance, if you like to visit, please leave your email again and your name in the chat box. We will put you on the event list announcement. We do monthly training and the workshops year round. I know COVID created a little bit of problem for us, but we actually started doing all the tour training workshops this year. And then I just finished the last training and tour yesterday. You will see the photos. It was raining and the wet and the cold, but we absolutely had a fantastic time. In our training, I do an integrated training, and this is a recommendation for you to do as a farmer if you want to engage more people. That we showcase our conservation practice. We use a solar battery for all the fencing, and we use a small tractor from John Deere to do all the heavy duty work. We don't really till our soil too hardly. We turn it a couple of times. Use cover crop, 100% cover crop production. We have 30 acres in this operation, but we break it down to a half acre a plot to mimic the small farmer's behavior. That's why this is a small farm unit. It's a 30 acre, 15 acres certified organic, and it's probably the longest certified organic field in the country because SAFs has been around for 27 years. Now, the other 15 acres is not certified organic, but we practice organic strategies the same as a certified. I want to demonstrate for farmers who don't want to go through the certification process, you can still do organic practice, um, no difference whatsoever. You know? By the way, we do organic certificate every year, and Melissa Bell, a really nice person, helping us to do that throughout her career. It's not that hard to do organic certified program, and I can guarantee you, if I can understand the process and get it ready for the inspectors, everybody should be able to do that. It's really not that bad. Now, we also promote the regenerate circular bioenergy system, which means on our farm we have the um, compost on the side, and we mow everything and then just leave it on the ground to natural decompose and those kind of things. We really don't do heavy duty fertilizer supplement. um, if I recall, I did since I came to ANT, we've been running this operation for 5 years now. We only do fertilizer once a year. Just the organic fertilizer was nitrogen and the potassium. We don't ever need to do phosphorus because we have sufficient cover crop in the soil. So to me, these are really minimum input, no chemical at all, no organic spray for pest or weed management, nothing. Everything is just as natural as possible. And I insisted our farm operation needs to be like this. Because if we do minimum input as a certified organic operation with success, then I have a solid ground to help people to do it the same way. And by the way, I grow all the vegetables that probably nobody else grows in North Carolina. I brought in the ethnic produce to our farm operation from Southeast Asia and from Europe, from South America. I was born and raised in Taiwan. So, from selfish perspective, I'm growing everything I like to eat. So, I introduced a lot of Taiwanese type of vegetables into this operation, and they're growing fantastically. I have some examples to show you. This is our purple radish. Gina, I don't. Oh, you can't see. Or can you see? Gina, can you see my produce?
Yes, we can see it.
Yeah, this is a purple radish. This is a watermelon radish, and this is a French breakfast. Beautiful red inside the radish, and then we have daikon radish. It looks like a ginseng, isn't it? It's a really fantastic daikon radish. And we have a smaller size of Japanese eggplant and Thai or whatever you call it, eggplants. So these are what we are harvesting right now at the farm, and we had the same challenges, just like all the organic producers. Weed first of all, and I weed when I go. I mean, there's really not much I can do, but this year we also had a pest problem. Uh, we use a trap edge vegetables. So instead of a spray or well, I can custom them, I guess. I don't know, Gina, that you're recording this, but I do custom them from time to time. But the past you can't really avoid their coming, and this year is very hard because it's very dry and then it's too warm. So we were battling the past issue from September through October, and the way I did it was I sacrificed some of the leafy greens, the Asian greens, use them as a trap vegetable. So they trap pests. So leave alone my high end produce. You know that's the best way I do it. And my colleague actually confirmed that this is a good way to do it. So there are different ways to do organic kind of operation, and then we don't sell our produce, of course. These are all certified organic produce in the market. It has really good value. But the most important thing is we don't just harvest the radish. We harvest the radish greens, sunflower. We use it as a cover crop, but we also well, you can sell a huge sunflower for $5 each head, and sunflower is a wonderful cover crop. The thing next to sunflower is okra. I hope you recognize it. Okra is really popular in North Carolina, South Carolina. But do you know okra flower? You can dry it up and then make a tea. Okra flower is an excellent cook ingredients. And then the third photo is crimson clover. outstanding cover crop. We have crimson clover as a winter cover crop right now. And the flower, you can sell it as a cut flower. The first picture is actually the purple lettuce. This lettuce grows like a Christmas tree if you just let it grow. I will show you. We don't harvest the whole head or by pulling the roots. I teach people to cut it around it, like a, get a haircut, just trim them. This one head of lettuce survived almost 3 months in the field, continuously harvest. Imagine how much money you can bring in by letting it grow and don't pull it from the field. So these are little tricks that I've been helping people to learn to increase your income opportunities and the most importantly to sustain the natural health of your field, your soil. We have bees on the farm collaborating with North Carolina Beekeeper Association. So we have our pollinators working for us. And I got to feed the bees with all these flowers. So that's how the whole production perspective you can create a multifunctional opportunities at your farm. Any questions, comments, Gina?
Yeah, we had a question going back to the agritourism about any type of signage that might be needed, specifically the signs provided through the NC Agritourism website. Do you have any advice or recommendations on that?
Again, I will refer you to call them because you are right. The signage there is a particular requirement about the size, what kind of logo you put on it, how you label it. Yes.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions or comments so far?
No, that's it.
Okay. The next way to look at a multifunctional agriculture is from the market and the marketing perspective. Now, the first photo is a French melon. It's a really high-end, a unique melon, not easy to grow in the southeast area here. But this year we had a wonderful experience with them. And these melon are different from the cantaloupe or the regular watermelon. Um, it's not as sweet, but it has a strong antioxidant effect. I teach people to cook the melon, to eat the melon in different ways, and then use the melon rim, the outside, the skin after you cut it out. Actually, you can use it as a natural cleanser for your skin. Human body, it works, it has this natural um, almost like essential oil kind of thing. Now, I'm not trying to say anything that I don't know about. That there are research for all these kind of things, and you guys can Google to find out more research-based benefit from these specialty crops. The second one is a bitter melon. I grow three different kind of bitter melons. White, big white jade. It's the white kind with bumpy skins. There's a green jade with a little bumpy skin, but this one is it's called mountain-based watermelon in my hometown, Taiwan. This is actually a Taiwanese variety, and it looks like a porcupine. So I call it a porcupine bitter melon. Bitter melon has a strong medicinal benefit from type 2 diabetic uh, treatment, prevention of and the ease of the cancer treatment, all kind of stuff. A lot of people publish the medicinal benefit of bitter melon. Um, I am going to expand on the bitter melon production next year. Hopefully, y'all can come to visit. And the bitter melon is still growing in our farm right now. We put them in the field from transplants. We put them in the field in May, and guess what? They're still growing in Goldsboro area. They're very hardy and they're very easy to grow. The second picture I was holding is actually a ginormous Asian green. Pak choy? You guys probably had seen pak choi in the market. Have you ever seen a size like that? That's about 7 pounds in itself. And we harvest pak choi the same way, not clear cut from the root. We trim them around, and eventually they have flowers, everything. That whole plant is edible. Okay. And the third picture was that Christmas tree lettuce I told you about. After we cut it a couple times, they started bolting, and that whole stem is absolutely delicious. Most of farmers and the consumers don't know about it, but if we teach them how to do it, people would love it. And then finally, the picture I had was a four fuzzy gourds. Um, they have fuzz on the skin. You probably can see it from the picture, and they're super delicious. And all these can grow from late spring into the fall. So if you grow them right and take care of it, they will take care of you by giving you high return. And I grow these to teach farmers to get into the niche market, ethnic market, to help with medicinal purposes, and to get. But the key is to get a better price from your crop perspective. Any question, comments so far, Gina, about market and the marketing?
Yes, we have a few questions. So we have someone from the Care and Community Farm at Okie Grove. They have many Asian vegetables and will be looking to market their produce. Do you have any specific advice for marketing Asian products?
Yes. Uh, y- I will be happy to coordinate any events with you because I do this training for community organizations and help people to understand how you can engage in the specialty market segment. The way I do training is I start with cooking demonstration because I don't just tell people you go ahead grow it and then you're going to sell it. That's not going to work for specialty crops, especially in a community that most of people had never even seen it. So my training is from the consumption side. I always start with a cooking training, demonstration, recipe, and let people try the food. Now, the reason I can do it, now just make sure you hear this, okay? I am an NCANT full time employee, and I work with NCANT, NC State, and Department of Agriculture. So I have liability coverage from my institution. Now, for me to cook and offer other people food, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm not supposed to do. Please do not do your own cooking demonstration without any permission because that's a risky. If if your customer or people in your workshop gets sick, then you are liable. So please let me know if you're interested in collaborating with me. I'll be happy to come, do the cooking, do the demonstration. I bear the liability. Okay? Now, so we start with helping people to understand how to eat these things and what are the benefits. And then in general, eating more vegetables just it's good for you. Period. You know? But we have to introduce the new variety to people. If you want to get into the specialty market, first of all, you have to understand what's the volume different kind of market it needs to buy. Are you selling to the restaurants? You know, we have a lot of ethnic restaurants around, Chinese restaurant. Every single town, every single street has one in this country. Viennese restaurants, super popular. Japanese, India. I saw a lot of European restaurants, and then South America. So to work with the restaurants, you do have to have license certificate and work with NCDA to do that. And then work with the chef to understand what's the volume they need to buy, and then go from there. But the first thing first is to please check with NCDA about all the required insurance certificate and license you have to have before we can talk to the buyers. Is that good enough for your question? Other questions?
Hey, sorry I dropped off for a minute, but I'm back. Did you answer the question about processing items with medicinal value?
No. What's
Okay.
the question?
Okay. So, yeah. Um, the question is, what must be done to sell and process items that have a medicinal value? For instance, making traditional remedies using items such as passion flower, sassafras, etc. Things like tinctures, salves, teas.
The same answer with the NCDA. Their whole marketing division has people working with you on that aspect. And we one thing to be careful is we cannot individually claim any medicinal purpose, because first of all, we're not physicians, we're not nutritionists, we don't have that training to prove it. So everything has to be research based, and the NCDA has required the paperwork and documents to guide you through that process to acquire a license or a certificate that you can sell this thing legally.
All right. That's great. Thank you.
Any other questions?
None right now.
All right. So NCDA is our best friend, believe it or not. That's all they do. Their job is to help us. If they support me to teach people to grow these things, then NCDA has the responsibility to help farmers to sell these things to the market, and they know how to connect with the market. All right. So just my recommendation is always start with NCDA, and be very cautious about your surrounding, your community, the kind of a food source around your community. That's the best way. Just to be very alert about what is new or what could be new to work with the community folks, because you don't want to grow something that nobody wants to eat, first of all. And secondly, you don't want to grow something that you don't know where to sell to. That's even worse. So before you started with all this stuff, please check with the NCDA, and then we'll go from there. And we are open all year round. I do workshops year round. If you want to have more details about the ingredients, all these tips and how I work with people, please be in touch with me, and I'll be happy to have a deeper conversation, because everybody has different needs. All right. So today is more like an introduction kind of thing. And finally, the last aspect about multifunctional agriculture is truly to work with the community to bring the appreciation of food to grounded level. The first picture was taken yesterday. In the rain and the wet and the coldness, we had a group of students visiting. And I did a cooking demonstration using our vegetables at the farm, went through the whole 9 yard, and then they were really happy. And most of these students had not seen these kind of produce, never even tried it before. But I was super, super happy after they ate the bitter melon soup. Because of that. Farmers always ask me, Doc, how do you get rid of that bitterness? You know what? Please don't get rid of the bitterness, because the bitterness is actually the effective part. That's the highest impact compound. The bitterness comes from the white insert and the seed pod inside of the bitter melon. So you scoop that part out and then boil a pot of water. Dump the bitter melon, cut it out, dump them into the hot water, count to 20 seconds, and then take them out right away. It will help to reduce the bitterness a little bit. But you actually want to taste the bitterness. Otherwise, it's not called a bitter melon. It's going to be a cantaloupe or watermelon. We call it a bitter melon for this purpose. In the middle, that was our French melon cut out freshly at the farm. This is early September when NCDA brought a group of minority farmers to visit to look at the new crop. And that's the third picture were from the same time, and they're standing in front of the bitter melon plains. Engaging community organization is the most important purpose for you to be multifunctional. Otherwise, you are still doing diversification. Multifunction agriculture bring in the whole aspect of helping people, educating people, and expand our good eating choices from farmers' perspective all the way to consumers' perspective. Any question about this?
There is one question, and you've talked a little bit about this throughout the whole presentation, but we have a participant who was wondering what kind of workshops that you host out at the CEF's research stations. And I know this could be a long answer, but you
Well,
want
it's
to
it's actually a short answer. I'll tell you. For anybody who wants to know what kind of workshop I do, go to our website. Go to Center for Environmental Farming Systems website. Click on Field Research icon. On the pull-down menu, click on Small Farm Unit. I upload all of our training information up there, and they're translated into Spanish too. So we do all kinds of training from agriculture production, conservation practice, to characteristics of the soil, soil sampling, identify soil for different supplement, to tool, equipment, practice, to insect, weed management, and to supply chain, how to work with venues or farm to direct sales, and then finally cooking demonstration, eating, and then other options of using different kind of crops. We do the whole 9 yard. I mentioned that we are probably the only ones in the country actually doing the whole integrated system approach in our training. Oh, and then we do beekeeping training too. We do um, different cover crop training, all kinds of stuff. So just drop your email and your name in the chat box. Gina will download the chat box stuff for me, and I will add everybody interested in coming to see us to our mailing list. Now, because of COVID, I also do online training. So if I have a field training, I usually accommodate people who cannot come to the site with an online training too. Well, at least you get to see some pictures. So if you cannot come to Goldsboro, don't worry about it. We have online training too. Is that good?
That's perfect. Thank you. And anybody who wants that information, please drop your email in the chat box and we can get that to you that way. All right.
Thank you so much, Gina.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost done, so just bear with me a little bit. Now, here is your activity stuff. I'm going to show you a bunch of websites. You can take a picture of the screen so you have this presentation information, or if you can wait a little bit, Gina will upload the recording and the PowerPoint to the conference website. But feel free to take a picture. These are some really popular resources that I use in our training workshops. This one is updated every year, the Southeastern U.S. Vegetable Crop Handbooks. No, and it also has every state, the vegetable production information website embedded in this handbook. And the handbook itself is a humongous volume online, but every link to each state specific vegetable is available for you to access. It's a free, nobody charge anything to do this. Is supported by USDA, and then so feel free to check out the updated information about all kinds of vegetables and the fruits you want to produce, how to deal with them, how to chase away all those pests, kind of a stuff. Okay. The second resource is National Agricultural Library. I don't think many of you probably even heard about it. Anybody had ever heard about it? Gina? You see people typing in the chat box. Anybody had used this before?
I know I haven't. Um,
Anybody in our audience that had actually used this before?
I don't see anyone who knows about this resource.
Good. This is the second new thing you learned today. So they actually have a whole publication about ethnic crops. A lot of the crops I introduced to you earlier are documented here. They talk about how to grow them, what's some characteristics about these vegetables, how to protect them, that sort of thing. So this is a fantastic resource. National Agricultural Library, it's a huge effort that USDA supports with all kinds of publications, resources, even has data. You see all these things up here? Topics, publications, collections, data, services, and all kinds of stuff. So they're just like a library. They have a composite information from all different states, all different areas, for all kinds of stuff people are dealing with. But from the also has a law perspective embedded in here. So it's a great resource for all the farmers or service providers if you're looking for some kind of similar situation. How do other people handle this stuff? And they also have a service phone line. You can call them. They can help you to find information if you cannot. All right. But this is a great resource. They actually have a specific division called ethnic crops. Any question, comments at this point?
No?
All right. This is the website I kept talking about, the small farm unit. And if some of you already looked for it, that's fine. You go to our website and then just look for the small farm unit. You see the farm manager's information there. You see my name over there. And then we have all the resources down the lower part in the menu to show you what kind of training we had done in the past. And then we also post the event announcement, the news release, all on this website. And this is in our on our SEP's website. Yeah, remember to take a picture if you want to. All right. Then you get a website information. Agriculture service is our agriculture marketing service has been my best friend for a long, long time. When people ask me, hey, Doc, where can I find the certificate information, marketing information, price information? How do people sell any regulation stuff? They have it all. But I want to bring your attention to the price information. Most of people look for prices, and not a lot of people know where to find the local prices. You probably know how to find the national prices, but here they have it all. And I'm going to show you how to get there. So once you get onto the AMS website, you choose the market news, pull down that panel, you see all these categories. Okay. For cotton tobacco, there is a particular division about their information. For dairy, there is information, livestock, poultry, and the grain. And they also have a specialty crops. A lot of those ethnic crops that we produce, they have information over here, including the price for import export. And then local regional food marketing is where you can find the local prices. Okay. If you click on local and the regional food marketing, this option, it will take you to a whole list of direct sales venue, including farmers market prices, farm to school prices, and CSA, community supported agriculture prices, and the local retail for organic versus non organic produce. They have it all. If you are not happy about that, you might as well click on organic category because they will repeat that link one more time. You will find organic produce price at the retail level throughout the country. So this is a fantastic website for you to find a reference point of the prices. The local regional food marketing price, North Carolina is actually listed on that list. Not all 50 states have the lists. Is anybody trying on this website? Gina, I'll give them a second. See if you guys can go onto this website. Follow my instruction. If anybody can find the local farmers market prices for North Carolina. Anybody?
Yeah, we'll give people a few minutes to do that. I love this website as well. I think it's a fantastic resource. So I encourage all the participants to go there and see if you can find that information.
Just drop it in the chat box to see if you find it. If you couldn't find it, then I can leave the PowerPoint, actually go to the website to show you.
We did have someone drop, there's some information in South Carolina for growing vegetables and stuff. So we've got those links in the chat box as well.
Thank you very much for sharing. Did anybody find anything from North Carolina farmers market price?
Looks like some people are finding the information.
Great. Now be very careful. The information linked from here to the North Carolina or any other states is through the state statistics division. So thanks to NCDA again. That's our because they manage the state farmers market, so you will see the state farmers market prices every week. Every week. They usually update it around Wednesday, Thursday, that kind of period. And it's a PDF file. Now, if you want to, you can check it out every week. Is there an archive? No. So you say, well, Doc, I missed it this week. How do I get back to the next week? Well, guess what? Who do you call? NCDA. They post 1 week at a time. But the archive information is not online. And the NCDA folks can help you if you're looking for old historical information. Most of the time, farmers look at 1 week at a time, but I highly recommend you to start your own data. Just create a spreadsheet. Create an Excel spreadsheet or take a piece of paper and a pencil, write it down every week. And that's how you can just remind yourself what the price was like last week or what the price was like last year. Any other questions or comments, Gina, in the chat box?
Nope, looks like people are finding the website and they're able to get that information.
All right. So you cut my work easy now. Okay, I told you, so don't call me to find prices. All right, you all know where to find prices here. Okay, this is the most common question I receive all the time. Doc, I forgot where to find the prices. Take a picture. All right, save the picture, enlarge it, put it on your wall. I would love to talk to you, but don't call me about the prices. Okay, cool. More prices about specialty product. That's the specialty crops category I showed you. If you click on each produce, you have the prices. Now, some of these prices are import prices at the port level. So be careful. Yes, we click on bitter melon last week when I did this training. People said, "Doc, the price was from Boston." I say, "Yeah, because the boat came in from Boston." I said, "Huh? The produce came from Mexico, docked at a Boston port." So that's the port price at the Boston market. So read that carefully when you check the price for specialty crops. Make sure you understand where these crops come from before you determine the price point. All right? They have a detailed description to tell you where the price point was, where the source was for different kind of crops. Now you understand why I started growing specialty crops here in North Carolina to introduce people to some of these things that most of people had not seen before. North Carolina ranked on the top five as the most important, significant agriculture producers in the country. We have fabulous weather, soil, and the people, really hardworking people. We can grow just about anything we want to, we can, and when we know where to sell them, how to price them. So farmers get good price and have your portfolio with various income sources. I hope this makes sense to everybody because we do import a lot of specialty crops from other countries, and that's just fine. But our farmers can also produce them, and that's fine too. All people have to eat. Population is growing exponentially. There are more people we can feed. So let's grow some. Any other comments, questions in the chat box, Gina?
None right now.
Okay. I hope everybody's still awake. So I'm not sure. I'm having a great time. I don't know about you all. Are you all doing all right? Is this information helpful? Could you drop something in the chat box for me? And by the way, I can't see you when I see the PowerPoint. So Gina is my eye.
Yes. We do have a question. Um, so Laura has asked, I am just starting to envision starting or investing in a farm. What questions would you recommend I start asking to help me envision what this farm might look like?
Well, 3 points if you're a starting farmer. First of all, location. Understand where you want to do this. Understand the surrounding environment, the climate, the soil characteristics, and the community. The location is number one important thing, just like anything else. Location, 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 right? It's the same for the farm. Where do you want this to be? Number two, how much money you have right now in your bank. That's the very practical question. How much are you willing to invest to have the basic infrastructure, right? Do you need to build something? Do you need to buy something? So just look at your bank account. Don't think about borrowing money or getting a grant. For new farmers, beginning farmers, the first thing first is look at your bank pocket because everybody else will ask you the same question. How much money do you have? So look at your bank account and think critically how much you can afford to invest on this thing. Number three, how do you want to operate it? Do you want to just grow one type of vegetable, fruit? Do you want to have animals on it? And by the way, for organic certified operation, you cannot mix animal with your fruit vegetable. That's not allowed to prevent contamination, other risk issues. So there are a lot of legal aspects you can learn. So we can make appointment to talk about it more. I'll be more than happy to meet with you to talk about it. Or CFSA. That's why you're here in this conference, right, Gina?
Right.
CFSA has a lot of great farmers presenting information, their experiences. Ask them. So, how did you all start this thing, right? And then CFSA is an excellent resource. And then NCDA, of course, all from the legal policy requirements, all this stuff. Uh, all in all, you have to pass the government. So that's NCDA will also be the good resource. And I'm glad you're here, Laura, because this is a great starting point for you to start thinking about it. And I hope the conference will provide sufficient information and support for you to start your planning process. Thanks for the question.
Hmm.
Other
We
questions?
we do have a lot of people still with us that are very excited to be here and to be learning from you. We did have another question about youth trainings. Do you have any recommendations or any advice on people looking for youth trainings in agriculture?
Okay, I have a what are you looking for? Are you looking for you train youth or you're looking for a place for youth to get training?
I think a place for youth to get trainings, like workshops for youth.
For youth,
Mhm.
okay. Work with the school programs, local school programs. They would love to have opportunity to learn from local farmers. I will not recommend you to bring youth to your farm if you don't have a good insurance. Again, for the same reason, you don't want anybody to have any problems or picked by the chicken, bite by the llama. Anything could happen. So you as a farmer, you can bring information to school and just volunteer,
Mhm.
after school programs, talk to the principals, school teachers, or work with a local library. I do this a lot. I work with Wayne County Library, Goldsboro Library, and then they have after school programs. The parents are there, kids are there to learn about vegetables. So go through the local library and the local schools will be very, very helpful for you to bring information into the classroom. And then if they want to do a field trip to your farm, please check with NCDA first. I have schools who wants to come to my farm, and then let NCDA folks know what kind of insurance liability you have, any license certificate, permit you already have, and then we'll go from there. Thanks for the question.
Mhm. And do you specifically provide any workshops or programming for youth at the SEF's research units?
We do. We do training for youth program. Help them to do some kind of small school gardening stuff. Uh, we our training for interns, particular interns, apprentices, they have to be 18 years old. So I do not do training for anybody under age 18, particularly at the farm. But we do demonstration field trip with the school kids from kindergarten through whatever. Because that's because that's NCDA land. They have the protection, they have the insurance, they have the permit.
All right. Thank you very much. That is all the questions I see right now. Looks like we have about 6 minutes left.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
So the last thing now, all comes to the conclusion is a finance, right? Financially, you got to make it work. Well, how do we know that's what it works? There is actually a Center for Farm Financial Management, a benchmarking program that's available, funded by USDA. I am a proud member of this research team. We gather financial information in a general estimated manner from each individual farmers contribute to the national benchmarking. So you have an idea on average of how do other people make it, right? Now I'm going to do a plug because North Carolina is actually not a part of the national benchmarking effort. And I have the grant from this particular program to bring in North Carolina farmers into the national cohort. Otherwise, we don't have a voice in here. So if anybody is interested in working with me individually through the benchmarking financial analysis perspective, please drop your email and just be specific. I'll be happy to work with you, Dr. Liang, on the financial benchmarking effort. We have one-on-one session to help you to put a solid record keeping together and being able to have our voices as a part of a national movement. This database is not new. It's been around for 20 some years. But when I came to North Carolina, I was very surprised. I said, whoa, North Carolina is a large agriculture state. We don't have one single farmer registered in this benchmarking finance. Now, how does this work? So I started being a part of this team, and my farm manager will be the guide to work with you one on one. And then we offer training in record keeping. I do that training. So if you enjoy my training today, sign up for the financial training, then we will help you to establish your record in a meaningful way. And this is what we see because as a good farmer, you're also a good entrepreneur, a good business person. You have to understand what goes in, what comes out, and what's in it for you. You know, like Laura, you're a brand new thinker in creating the farm, but you can see 5 years, 10 years down the road what's in it for you, you know, Laura. And I believe many people on the workshop may be similar to Laura's situation, or you're still thinking about trying to figure it out. Financial analysis is the best way to give you an indicator. Am I doing it right? Or am I getting what I'm supposed to? A lot of small farmers, particularly small farmers, don't have a clue. So let me know if you need help from the financial benchmarking perspective. We'll be happy to meet with you one on one. None of the information has a name attached to it. Everything goes into the national data is no name, no address, no whatsoever. All people know is this is North Carolina. So if we could represent North Carolina, I would really appreciate that effort. All right. To finish it up, we talked about a lot today. But these are some questions for all of you to think about it. Take a picture if you want to. And this is a good starting point that for everybody who wants to be engaged in multifunctional agriculture. And just to think about would you be able to do it? Would you be happy to do it? What if you lose money by doing it? And it's okay, absolutely, because a lot of people say, I don't want to lose money. You know what? If you lose money, that's also a good indicator. Maybe you shouldn't do it. You know, just to think about it. There are all different ways to think about where you want to go and not just for immediate time. If you're in agriculture, you're in the long haul because we rely on you for the continuous good food and the environment relies on continuous practice to help all the soil, all the nature partners, all a part of the whole universe. And that's the conclusion of today's sharing. I'm going to stop sharing right now.
All right. Thank you so much. That was a lot of great information. I've got a lot of people's contact information that are going to be looking to hear from you later. A few people interested in that benchmarking initiative. So thank you for presenting. I know this was one of the first workshops of this conference, and so we are all braving it together. But thank you so much. And again, I want to thank our sponsor, Whole Foods, for sponsoring this. But I think that that's it. I don't see any more questions. So I hope that everyone enjoys the rest of the conference.
Thank you, Gina, and I look forward to getting the chat box information from you. So I'll be in touch with these folks. Thank you for facilitating. Appreciate.
Of course. All right. Bye,
Bye
everyone.
bye.